Record on computer.
So you should now be co-host.
Okay, we're recording now.
Okay, well, good afternoon and welcome. Another Sunday, another week gone by, another week of lockdown. So it'd be interesting to see if things have changed from last week. I remember last week seemed a very positive meeting, and everyone seemed quite upbeat and getting the most and the best out of everything. And there was a feeling of, as things went on, maybe those feelings might change, and what wasn't being seen as an open prison might start to become seen as such. So yeah, interesting to find out later just where everyone is and how we're feeling about things now, how we're getting on, how we're coping. But first of all, I think just check in with John and Sanjay and see where they think they are at the moment and where they think things are going.
Okay, first we're expecting about 15 to 20 people on here, so there may be some late arrivals still coming in. And where am I? I've had a couple of days that I've spent in the garden outside. It's actually cloudy for the first time in a few days, and it has been very sunny. So being outside has made a big difference in terms of how I feel. Because most of the time it's within the walls, whereas in the garden it feels a lot more spacious, and there's a lot more kind of bird song and sounds out there as well. So that's definitely helped me improve my mood, and being able to go out for a walk briefly yesterday as well. So that's me at the moment. John?
Yeah, I'm in a very, very good place, and partly for the same reasons that the weather's nice and you can go outside. On Friday, I spent about 3.5 hours walking Rita and another 2 hours on my bike. So you couldn't say that I was paying that much attention to the 1 hour rule, but there never are any rules, there are only ever guidelines. Certainly, since finished work such as it is on Thursday, and just having a few days to really kind of relax, better expression, and this idea of using this time to really connect. I have to say that there's a part of me that would like a lot of the aspects of what's going on now to continue for a long time. Clearly, there's another side to it, and another dark side to it, so to speak. But from a purely personal point of view, everything's pretty damn cool at the moment. So,
it was only an aerial shot from one of these, what do you call them, the hover things. So it was you arguing with them. It's only a guideline.
What do you mean? Yeah.
So welcome everybody as well, and welcome Emma Hall. Emma, I'm just going to enable your mic. Where are you? I as far as I know, you're still in Thailand, but I may be wrong. Did you make it?
Yes. Hello, Sanjay. Hello, Dave. Hello, John. Hello, everyone on the line. Good to see you. Yes, I'm in Thailand. I'm on Koh Phangan. And the whole crisis didn't really land on here till about 3 weeks ago. And that's when they started locking everything down. So they closed the restaurants and the bars, the parties stopped, the yoga groups stopped. And then people really started to feel it. I mean, we knew it was all going on, obviously, but it didn't really hit us until probably nearly 4 weeks ago now.
Okay, and what time of day is it there? Because I don't know what the time difference is.
It's 10 o'clock p.m.
Okay.
So we're 6 hours ahead now because you're British summertime, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah. So
how's it been?
I'll let other people answer, because there are people on here who can also answer rather than the three of us have the conversation. So just in terms of management, if you want to speak, just put your hand up and we'll enable the mic, because if everybody's mic's enabled, then we're going to have a lot of interference in the background. So sure. Who's going to answer Emma as to how it's been here? Jackie, let me enable the mic. Okay.
Hello. For me, it's been heaven. No school runs. My husband's been home a lot more, so I've just dished up the food and then walked out the kitchen and left everybody else to do it and clean up. I have missed my cleaner, but equally have enjoyed the opportunity of helping my boys learn what it is to keep a house clean and tidy. So actually, the introvert part of me, which doesn't get a lot of showtime these days as a mum and working and everything, has been absolutely loving it, not having to go anywhere, not having to do anything. The fact that we got fantastic weather, I set myself a challenge to try and do the cool sitting in my garden today, and I did it. I've got an extension cable running back through the house, but it's been challenging, and there's been different mood swings that we've gone through. And I've noticed that the first thing I did, because I've done enough of kind of changes of routines in the past to know that I need routine. And so the first thing I promised myself was I would stick to my 6:30 a.m. buddy call. I would do my daily exercise. I would, have those morning routines for me. And I would use the time to do a lot of things that I never get round to. So for me, it's been really good. And I've also been able to support all the House of Colour consultants by doing this kind of call. I decided on the first week to do it on a Saturday, twice a day, to capture different time zones. And so I've been really getting how valuable it is to people just to be able to connect. Because it's all very well for me. I've got my family. A lot of people are on their own, or they can't be with their family. If their kids are with the mum and they can't see their children in the same way, this kind of thing's been challenging. But for me personally, it's been lovely, and I don't want it to end too soon. But yeah.
Dave, do you want to just take over for a moment? Somebody's trying to get through to me.
Yeah, fine. Thank you, Jackie. Is anyone else any thoughts or reports on where they are and how they're finding things? Jenny?
Just to kind of echo really what Jackie said, selfishly, my life hasn't really changed because I work from home anyway. The only difference is that the boys and Gary are at home. But I'm really enjoying not really having anything else to do, not having to tear up the motorway every couple of weeks to take the kids back to their dad, having more quality time with the boys, just taking life at a bit of a slower pace. I think it's given us all the opportunity to be able to do that. I am aware that there's a lot of suffering going on outside of our front door, but I'm really trying not to engage with it too much. I'm not watching the news. I'm not really on social media. I don't want to get to that place where I feel really panicked. So I just feel really calm, incredibly grateful for my health and the health of my family and life, and lying in bed and listening to the birds tweet away, going for a walk in the forest and seeing all the ponies and the donkeys around, and just really paying attention to nature and the changes in the seasons. Just feeling really lucky and grateful.
Thank you. Emma, you've got your hand up. Was there something you wanted to just add to that?
Yeah, I feel like for me here, I feel like I've been through the 7 stages of grief. At first it was like a shock, denial, grief, anger. I had moments of 3 weeks ago my vacation stopped, and I've just been feeling I've been having so many messages about conspiracy theories, and I've been trying to look at things at all different angles, and now I've stopped looking at the news, and I feel so much happier by not reading about it and feeling totally out of control of the situation. And I thought to myself, right, what can I do that I've always wanted to do and never really had time to do it? So I've just been looking into all these different online platforms and just getting comfortable in front of a camera, which took me years to do. So for me, it's been really productive. And I can agree with Jackie. It's like, I don't know if because I'm a Scorpio and I tend to deal with bad situations well. I feel like it's made me a better leader, and it's just being here has given me a purpose to keep the vibration higher with my own projects, and it's kind of like giving me the permission to step into my leadership role, which oddly, whereas before I was super scared of like public speaking and talking on a live video and stuff like that, and it's kind of just broke through so many glass ceilings previous to this, but also during the last 3 weeks, I'd say. So it's actually, I don't want it to last forever, but like you, Jackie, I'm enjoying it.
Do you like being labelled?
Sorry?
Do you like being labelled?
Do I like being labelled?
You said you're a Scorpio. Does that help?
Yeah, I just I do. I am a Scorpio. Yeah, it's just how I am, I guess.
Is that all you are?
No, of course not. It's just my ascendant.
I'm teasing you. I'm sorry.
It's just my star sign. That's all.
I know.
I'm much more.
You're much more than that.
Oh,
None of us are labels. Has anyone else got anything that they've noticed or that they've been feeling the last few weeks now? And the thoughts of however many weeks it may go on. Yes, B, I'll just unmute you.
No.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. Sorry, I was a bit late to the meeting. Yeah, I just wanted to say, I think I was just reflecting on it last night after I had a call with John, and I just feel like everything's slowed down and it's given like people the chance to just stop, which I don't think that's ever really happened. And I've seen it like all around me with my friends especially, and myself, the fact that you just had to stop, and you can't go out, you can't do anything, so everything's come to a stop, but it's given you that opportunity to have time on your own. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Are you enjoying the time on your own?
Yeah, I really am. It's great. I don't think I would have done, and if I was given an option. I think the fact that I don't have an option, rather than to be on my own and not be able to go out, the fact that there is no option makes it a lot easier.
Okay, that's interesting. So you've been forced into it and you're enjoying it. Had you not been forced into it, you probably wouldn't have even considered it.
No, I wouldn't have even thought about it. I wouldn't have probably even tried, and it probably would have been a massive struggle. But the fact that there is no choice, for me, it just makes it a lot easier. But I think the fact that I have had to stop has made me do like a lot of self-reflecting, which has been only a good thing.
Mm.
You can hear the bird song in your garden, which is also very pleasant.
I know, it's so beautiful. They're so noisy.
And it's interesting just looking at the call now, the number of people that are outside.
Yeah, it's
Whereas
a beautiful day.
I can't ever remember a call that we've done where anyone's particularly been outside, let alone many people being outside. So maybe it's again, we're being pulled towards nature, or an appreciation more of nature.
Yeah, definitely.
And again, you've said a similar thing as Jenny said, and it's been said before. There's definitely seems for some people the opportunity to actually take stock and slow down. I realised when I got on the call and spoke to Sanjay about 10 to 4, he's actually the first person I've spoken to all day, and it's been absolutely lovely. So yeah, that's just an opportunity to reflect on things.
Definitely. I think it's also brought brought me a lot closer to some of my friends, because I feel like I'm sort of checking in with them every day, to see how they are and see how everyone's mental health is, because obviously at a time like this, when you are stuck inside, for some people it really ramps up the stress, especially if you've got small children, because you can't go out, you can't take them out and go anywhere, so you feel like you're sort of stuck inside. So I feel that side of thing has like pulled me closer to some of my friends, which is quite nice.
Yeah, and sometimes I think the value of even just a brief conversation for some people will be more than you could imagine.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anything that they'd like to share with us? Andy?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, far away.
Yeah, we've been, well, last night we cooked our dinner on an open fire in the woods.
I'm done now.
I've been spending quite a lot of time in the bush with my missus and my son Edward. We've got a spot near us within a mile, which is quite remote, that nobody seems to really know about. So we've built a fireplace there, and we've set up an A-frame, we're cooking on. I've started building a shelter. I've been ordering stuff online, like I've got a good huntsman's axe now, and watching lots of bushcraft videos, and just really going back to nature. We were there last night from about 8 o'clock till midnight. I know, again, it's technically breaking the law, but for me, it's just going back to nature. One of my friends jokingly said to me, "You're not cooking hedgehogs, are you?" But no, it's been really nice, because I've been showing my son fire building skills, how to do it from a flint and steel, making all the things and carrying all the things up there. We've had fires in the garden. I've probably had about 7 or 8 fires now since this lockdown, and it's my sort of release. It's, you know, you realise that. A friend of mine said to me the other day, he said, "Oh, the world will never be the same again." And I just said, look, I said, the snow, the mountains, the lakes, the rivers, the waves, says they're never going to change. Says it's all your perception of how you think it might be in the future. But I've just found that going back to nature and being outside, it's not really a problem for me, this lockdown now. I've sort of got my head around it, that it's going to be here for the summer, and that's where we're at. I'm actually quite enjoying it, if I'm honest. It's not a massive problem, except that it is for the world. So yeah, like a lot of people, I've had a lot of conspiracy theories thrown at me and all sorts of stuff, but the realization is that actually you can't control any of that, so just let it go.
And I think it's interesting what you're saying there, that the difference between you not denying the issue, not denying the virus and the effect it has on people and what it can cause and how bad it can be for some people. At the end of the day, you can only deal with your life or your business, your reality. And if you're making the most of it, and if you're getting something from it, if you're seeing the benefits, then that's still, you know, that's to the good, and that doesn't deny what's going on, but you've got little control, as you said, over that.
Yeah, like what that virus does in the world, whether it ravishes, I don't know, 100 million people out of 7 billion, I've got absolutely no control whatsoever. So all I've got control over is my little family, my house, and what we do. And that's what I'm doing, taking it into my own hands. We've had quite a bit of time away from the house. We've got a dog as well, so when we're in the woods, she sort of keeps guard for us.
They're quite dangerous woods then, where you live.
No, not really. It's just like I'm quite a security conscious person. So when I'm out somewhere, I like to know. What's interesting, what I found is that when you hear a noise out there, the sound is actually 3 times further than what you perceive. Like there's a metal gate with a catch, and sometimes I'll hear it, and you think, wow, that's really near, but it's actually about nearly like 500 meters away. So your senses, your ears, your hearing becomes very acute. I can hear every animal noise, every sort of living thing around you become very aware of.
Yeah, and I don't think you're alone in that at the moment. Bird noise volume seems to be
for sure
higher than ever.
Well, just look at the sky. You hardly see any planes.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that. Anna, did you have something you wanted to say? Hello.
Hello. Yes, I was just to say, for me, my week isn't hugely different. I'm going to work 3 days a week. I work in a sort of a step down unit from hospital. And then I work 2 days on my business. And now this week at work, it got really busy and I've been doing 10-hour days. And I must say on Wednesday, a little bit of the fear, sort of as if it just sort of came over me, went through me. Because we've had to change how the unit works because there's 3 people with suspected to have the virus. My colleague's gone off with quite bad symptoms. So now we're just trying to really push to get everyone home. But the difficulty is a lot of the family members are concerned about their loved ones going home. I'm sure Natalie, you probably know it's very difficult to get packages of care at the moment. So we're sending people home with setting them up to fail, basically. And so on Wednesday, I was feeling like, it's almost like, what's the point of me working my business the next 2 days? Sort of the work in the NHS just seemed so much more important. But then Thursday came round and I don't go to work, so I just did what I normally do, and actually I had a really productive day. And the people I'm working with, some of the people I'm part of my group, they've been giving me feedback of how useful it is. And so for me, what I've learned is just being present. When I'm going to work and I'm in the NHS and I'm dealing with that, deal with that. But the days I'm doing my own business, be present and work on that, and that does have its own value. So, and then this weekend, I've just completely had me time, which is what I've needed, because some people have got a lot more me time, and yeah, I've just been sort of needing that, I think, this weekend. So,
yeah, and I think it's important to recognise that as well, and allow for that, and don't get caught up in. We've said it enough times. I think that the whole thing about putting on the oxygen mask. It's great if you're able to help people, but if you help people at the expense of your own well-being, then ultimately you won't be helping them, or not for much longer, or not in as good a way, or as otherwise you might be able to. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and that's exactly what I preach in my business as such. So yeah, definitely put it into practice myself. I know the value, definitely.
Well, always practice what you preach.
Yeah. Well, I truly believe it, so that's why I preach it.
You're opening yourself up for a fall, aren't you? Not that I'm mentioning this for anyone else's benefit on the call, but hey, I'm sure we all do. Thanks, Anna. Has anyone else got anything else that, like Nikki, you've got your hand up there. Hello, Nikki. Hang on, let's just.
Hiya.
Hello.
Yeah, I agree pretty much with what everybody said. I've really enjoyed having the time to spend doing things that I perhaps wouldn't normally do. But I am really struggling at the moment with not seeing my family, not seeing the grandkids. That's the bit I'm really finding hard. And when we Skype them or Zoom call them, whatever, but it's actually that physical contact. I can't pick them up and hold them. And they're only young for such a short time. We've got a 6-year-old and a 1-year-old, and they're already growing up so quickly, and we're not seeing it. So that's what I'm struggling with now. And each week that goes on, it gets that little bit harder as well. So yeah.
You accept that's what's going on right now?
Yeah, don't have a choice.
Yeah, but you don't have a choice, and you can suffer with it, or you can accept that this is how it is at the moment, and like everything, it will pass.
Yeah,
will still be there, and have the rest of their lives to enjoy them, and maybe you'll enjoy them that bit more as a result of this experience.
Yep, probably very true. Yep.
I wonder, would you be missing them in the same way? Not to say that you wouldn't be missing them, but would it be the same feeling if they were off on a 6-week around the world cruise or around the world holiday?
No, possibly not. I think it's just the uncertainty, isn't it? I mean, we were supposed to be moving up to be with them, but obviously that's all stopped with this. It's the uncertainty. It's just not knowing how long is it going to be. I've got a son in China as well, who's still on lockdown, and it's again, you know, when are we going to see them?
Yeah, but we fool ourselves into thinking that there's such a thing as certainty. This is just bringing it right to the fore. We have no control. We never did have any control. People have their habits, and Jackie was talking at the beginning about the routine that she has, and we all place, without thinking about it, we all place a lot of value in these routines because that gives us the illusion of control. Yesterday was the same as today, is the same as tomorrow, but it's an illusion. We never had control. This is just putting it right in your face.
So I like control.
Oh, that's a we all like really.
Can I ask Helen to share, because she shared something similar to what you just said, John, earlier on, and she had a realization that I thought might be useful for the group as well. Helen, do you want to just come on there? Okay.
Hi, I can't remember exactly what I said, but I had read the title of the webinar, which was something around uncertainty in these times, and it sort of made me laugh, like, so when was there certainty? And I said to Sanjay, but you never know you're going to wake up tomorrow, right? That's not ever, it's not guaranteed. So, so it is just like cranking that up a notch, right? But nothing was ever certain anyway. And I really got that when I read the title of the webinar and thought, oh, this is just an opportunity to grow on a bigger scale, right? So yes, I echo exactly what John just said. When did we ever have certainty?
And it's an important point because everybody, including me, when we react to things that are happening, we always go into this place of fear, doubt, and uncertainty. And we forget that actually there is no certainty. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 seconds, let alone the next 5 minutes or 5 hours or 5 days, because anything could happen. I mean, how many people seriously can say that, or, you know, could have said that they could have predicted that on such and such a date, the world would become aware of coronavirus, because everything was certain. The new year had started, 2020 was here, 2020, the year of clear vision. Well, it's not so clear anymore, is it? Or was it ever that clear, except as a thought? And it's an opportunity for us all to embrace uncertainty, to actually be okay with uncertainty, because no matter what we do, no matter where we are, there is never such a thing as certainty, except as a thought. We have plenty of thinking that'll say I'm certain or I'm uncertain, but there's no such thing as certainty. And if there is such a thing as certainty, then it's very fleeting, because the opposite of certainty is uncertainty, and you can't have one without the other. So by saying that we want certainty, we're also saying we're okay with uncertainty. And yet we all seem to be complaining that it's an uncertain world. So these are just viewpoints to consider, because whether there is certainty or whether there's uncertainty, this moment is this moment. It hasn't changed whether we think there's certainty or uncertainty. It doesn't make a difference. It makes no difference whether we think there's certainty or uncertainty as to what is. So is it just a way in which we fight what is, another way to try and control what is? So just a thought to put out there amongst all those other thoughts? Are you certain that there's uncertainty?
There only is what there is.
And everybody's gone very quiet. Keith, you got your hand up. Let's just enable your mic.
Hi. Yeah, just when you said about the year of clarity, I think it is actually the year of clarity, because everyone's got the time now to be clear in their head, take the time to think about what they really want, what's important, what they value. So I think, yeah, it still could be called the year of clarity, because, you know, we've got that time now to do stuff which we've never had, or we've never given ourselves. We've probably always had it, but we've been forced into making the time now, or having the time. So yeah, I think this is probably the universal nature's way of shaking us all up and saying, stop fucking around and let's get our acts together. So there you go. That's my opinion. There you go.
It seems to
Telling you to do that for a long time, Keith.
I know.
So, as the saying goes, you're clear as mud now.
Yeah.
Jackie, yeah, go on.
Yeah, in a similar insight to Keith's, really, when you made a comment about 2020, the year of clear vision, my gut reaction was yes, and this is what was needed to clear the vision. You know, we didn't have clear vision. We're so busy running around doing, that actually to stop and to be, and I think B mentioned it as well, but it's that opportunity of just sitting with ourselves. And the number of people I've spoken to who admitted that they really would have been petrified of that, but because it's forced on them and there is an opportunity. And one of my colleagues was saying, this is an amazing social experiment, because if we come out the other side, will we want to, you know, each of us individually will make a judgment on, do we really want to keep that practice up, that habit up, that, you know, some people love working in their pajamas and they'll try and find a job now where they can work in their pajamas, and others hate it, and so we'll make sure they don't have that job. But it's, as a social experiment, it's an amazing way to clear, you know, just like the rivers are clearing and the air is clearing and the sounds are clearing. This is what's clearing the vision. That's
so
what I heard.
what's become clear for you, Jackie?
That I definitely shouldn't be a mother. I was not made to look after anybody but myself. No, I suppose what's clear for me is, okay, let's stop and think.
No, don't think, just stop.
No, well, yeah, but just stop and let. What I mean by stop and think is not just allow the reaction to come out of my mouth.
No, just allow it to come out of your mouth.
Yeah, but that's not what I meant. It's around the instinct and the intuition of I knew what I needed to do, because I've been doing more of that, and in clearing some things like I've done all my finances, everything is up to date. I'm just waiting for a couple of things like a P11D to do my tax return. I could file it tomorrow. I've never, ever, ever, ever had it done before July. And in the clearing of those things, it's like I'm removing all the other things that would distract me from what's really important. So what's important for my life, my purpose, the difference I want to make. The space that's been created is allowing me to deal with all those things rather than just have them as niggles and distractions in my head all the time. I've dealt with it, I've cleared that, I've thrown away that, I've chucked away that. And in amongst all of that, I've had more and more meaningful conversations about what is it going to look like? And I can really focus on it. And I'm now down to, apart from running the family, in terms of food and keeping the house clean and things like that, I'm down to two projects with a few supporting things like EM. And I've got really clear on which communities I'm tuned into as well, because there's so many communities I'm attached to that I could have these kind of calls with. I could spend all day, every day on these kind of calls and get nothing done. And I've just naturally fallen into the ones that are working for me. they seem to resonate with me, and instead of trying to cram everything else in, I'm going, I don't need to do that. Just don't need to do that. So it's a real clarity and a freedom in being able to focus on what is important to me, that's been made available by the space. And the not having, because for me, I have to get up, I have to have breakfast, I have to get the kids out to school, I have to pick them up from school, I have to you know, and there's just this constant treadmill that, and with my husband's job being unreliable, I never knew whether he was going to come home at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, or 10 o'clock at night. Whereas I can do the things that are right for me at the right time of day, and then that leaves so much more space for me to do what I keep saying I've wanted to do but never quite got around to. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Stunned to silence. So yeah, and in terms of that knee-jerk reaction, you know, I just stop myself from spitting out the first answer, because actually if I just stop, the more meaningful answer is lower down. I just have to allow that one to come up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So
whereas, would it be the mind kicking in with the answer straight away as what you think maybe needed to be answered, or the way it should be answered, or what someone's looking for?
Well, just a habit really of what I've done.
It inside.
Yeah, no, I've done enough of this type of work to usually catch myself with what would be the answer people want. But what I haven't mastered is that knee-jerk reaction, which is the mind. So I'm not trying to please people as much as I would have in a past life, but at the same time, if I just stop and I give myself permission to not have to come out with an answer straight away, the one that I let rise up is often more powerful, more clear, more succinct. Yeah, just more powerful, more real, and more relevant, I think, as well.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. God, capture that. Glad this has been recorded. What time is it on? I must rerun that one. I'm
going to mute you because I can. Right, Sanjay, you suggested maybe a breakout room.
Yeah, I just got a question, which perhaps if we can just do this quickly, is get into pairs in separate rooms and just answer the question: what are the 3 benefits that you have experienced yourself as a result of what's been happening across this country, if not the world? You know, wherever you are in the world, you're probably in lockdown. What are 3 benefits that you experience? And literally just name those 3 benefits to each other, and then we'll come back into the main room in literally 2 to 3 minutes just to share, because I think one of the themes that has been consistent over the last couple of weeks is the people here certainly are experiencing more benefits, if at least and you know, they're not experiencing more negative aspects of this. A lot of positive seems to be coming out of this. Let's just get an idea of what are some of the things that people have been experiencing. So Dave, can you set that up? Or...
I'm just in the process of
and literally when you go to the room, just you know, take turns, share 3 things, and we'll bring you back to the main room then.
I just think sometimes it's really good not to be in control.
Right, here we go then. Good luck, everyone.
Okay, I've got breakout room 9.
Yeah, I'll join you in 9 because I couldn't not do that.
Okay.
No.
Using control, please ensure we're locked in the same room.
Oh well. You wanna go or I'll go?
Possible. These breakout rooms are great. So let me just do something.
Brilliant.
Loads of people joining in.
They seem to be, yeah. They've all
It's starting to come back now.
they've all gate crushed our room.
I'm going back on mute.
You never left, Nikki.
Oh, didn't I? Right. I'm obviously attached. I have attachment issues.
I'm not sure where everyone else is. I've got no idea. Maybe they still they still
Anna,
counting down.
who wants to share some of the things that you picked, in the kind of groups you were working in? What are the things that came out as benefits of that? Like, just get an idea of the different benefits that have come out of this as well. So if you just put your hand up, Bill, put your mic on, and we'll just share. Julia first, and then Selena. Julia.
Hello. So we had a number of different, well, a couple of us had similar things to do with spending time with family. And I think everybody is enjoying, as everybody's been saying, the time to just sort of take time for yourself and slow everything down. But I think also for me, it's the opportunity that it's given for me to put into practice everything that I have learnt over the last 9 months with EM, and realise how much I've come on in that journey from when I started, and how grateful I am to have these skills to be able to deal with everything that's going on, because I don't think I would be sitting here in quite such a calm frame of mind if I hadn't have done this work. So yeah, they're the kind of main things for me, really.
Okay, thank you. And Selena next.
Oh, hang on, Selena, sorry. There you go.
Okay, so I was in a room with Andy, and very very similar, actually. So he's getting back to nature and going out, becoming Bear Grylls, and he's loving it. And it's similar. I'm always out in nature, but I'm getting my hands dirty. I've started sowing some plants and things like that. So I've got some fruits at the end of the lockdown. And he mentioned seeing everything so quiet, and it's really nice not to have that buzz going about. I can hear the nature. I can hear the kids playing out in the gardens, and all that kind of stuff. And the fact that he's had time to put order into his house, and I'm doing the same now. I've had like 3 weeks rest, and now I've got a bit of energy. I can start sorting stuff out that I should have sorted out when I had the time. But when I had the time, I was too tired to do it. So I've had all my rest I need, and now it's time to do it.
Thank you. Some of the people who've not spoken yet, what did you discover? So
B's got a hand up. So.
Okay, yeah. So go to B first,
Yeah.
and then a couple of the people that haven't spoken to.
Okay, hi.
Hello.
Hi. I was on a call with Buddy, and he went first, and his was amplified collective awareness, which I think a lot of us can resonate with. In fact, probably everybody. And I just said it's just brought me totally into the now, because you can't plan what's going to happen in 2 weeks, because we don't know. Not that I did before, but I think I could have planned to see my friends, but now because I can't, it's brought me completely into the now, which obviously in itself brings on all sorts of things. You hear the birds more, and you hear the silence, and there's not as much traffic on the road, and also it's given me more gratitude, which I didn't think was possible, because I thought I had a lot of that. But I think it's made me focus on it more what I have got rather than what I want. So yeah, it's a nice feeling just to focus on the haves instead of the wants, because that's really draining.
I can almost hear the penny drop from here.
I know.
Thank you for that. A couple more people. If I can bring Suzanne, would you mind sharing first what you learned, and then Natalie after you?
So for me, it's been a massive opportunity to work more, to go to places in me that perhaps I don't like very much, or to discover more about myself and deal with things and find things out. think that's probably the best time to do it, when you sort of you don't have work, you've not got lots of other people, apart from my kids sometimes, but not lots of other people around you. It's a good place to sort of go inside and learn more, find out more, if that makes sense. So that's been worthwhile, up and downy, work in progress, but good. And other things that have been good, spending time with the kids, as a couple of other people have said, but really spending time with them, not just the quick eat your dinner, here we go, and off to the next whatever you're doing or whatever. Really spending time sort of talking, playing games with them, getting to know them on a better level, even though they're my kids. I think I knew them, but I know them better now that things have slowed down and we can stop and take the time for each other. So that's been a really good thing. And then the other thing is, I'm going to say this but receiving. Okay, so I'm really grateful to be receiving money from furlough. I think I'm very lucky, and I think I'm very grateful, and say thank you, government, for that. It's gratefully received. So my two things.
Great, thank you. Natalie, you're next.
Yeah, well, I'm just really grateful to have 2 days off, an extra 2 days off. Sorry, my computer went a bit funny. An extra 2 days off. It's like just been great to have the extra couple of days to rest. And normally I would use, if I had a day off, I would use the day to do all the things that I can't do when I'm working. But obviously we visited the shop so many times, we don't need anything. We've bought things. We are literally out of shops now, so there's nothing to do but to just kind of like relax. And today we're doing Easter hunt and things like that. So I was just saying the 3 things that was one of them, one of my 3 things. The second thing is work. Now, work has always been a difficult for me. It's a complete nightmare actually, but it's always been a nightmare, and it's always been a nightmare because it's never worked. The system never works. There's not enough people, there's not enough money, and it's always been like that. It's always been drinking on the edge of collapse. So now, and that's why everybody's so stressed and kind of like it's just not working. So now it's kind of like blown completely out of the water. It's obviously a nightmare, but it's a nightmare in a different way. It's like now everybody's given up because you can't control this, and we are all the legislation that I spent kind of years learning and everything is gone. We've been given like a 12-page document, and no one's even got time to read it, to be honest, and no one knows how to implement it anyway. So it's just it's gone, and so I'm really enjoying that. When I'm not looking at kind of like the sadness and all of the rest of the things, which obviously is there, I'm just enjoying the fact that now things are going to change, and hopefully for the better. So that my third thing was just seeing like people starting to be kinder to each other, and the community spirit and everything, and just even, you just feel a sense that people are now starting to look at what I've always known as the most important thing, which is love and kindness and connection, and now like seeing it amongst other people is really heartwarming. I actually had a 4th thing. Can I share it? The other 4th thing is like when bad things happen, it pushes you kind of like inside more. And like I've had bad things happen, like yesterday my children's nan died, and corona and things like that, various things. But I find each time something like that happens, you come closer inside. You can choose then to be on the inner or the outer. And for me, it was like just a realization that it would have taken me a lot longer to come inside to that place of peace than before, which is obviously progress from being on emotional mastery.
Great, thank you. And can we have just 2 more people who hasn't shared?
Dave Morris.
Yeah, okay, go on.
So I was with Nikki, and connection would be Nikki's had a lot more time to reconnect with God and to really develop her connection and practice there. And for me, that's about my connection back to nature, and just observing everything. And as most people have said, because there's no or very little background noise, there's very little cars, very little planes, you can actually hear nature now. At the moment, it sounds like there's a swarm of bees in my garden every morning, and there's not. There's probably 5, but it sounds like a swarm because you can actually hear them for the first time. Realising for me was the opposite of Nikki. For me, I'm pretty good on my own. I quite like being on my own. I don't have any issue with it. I'll see Phoebe for a couple of days and I might not see anybody then for 4 or 5 days, and I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly at peace with that. Whereas Nikki's discovered that she loves spending lots of time with her husband. So I think opposite ends of spectrums, but great learnings in both ways. And you just, for me personally, just not spending any money. I mean, I'm not getting any because I don't get any. I don't qualify for any of the government's assistance and plans or anything like that, which is fine. I'm okay. But you just don't spend any money. And I think it's going to be really interesting at the end of all of this, whenever it happens, just to see whether or not it stays that way and that materialistic things just don't have any place at all going forward.
Thank you. Who's next for them? Paul, Diane, is there anybody else who hasn't shared? Paul, can I come to you first?
Who? Sorry. Who are you going to first?
Pay attention. Paul, you're on.
Yeah, so I broke out with Emma, and Emma was talking about slowing down and doing stuff that she hasn't done before, so like catching up on systems. And I can resonate with the whole slowing down aspect. That part's been really good. Like previous to this period, I just feel I've been chasing my tail around and not getting too far. But now slowing down, I realise that a lot of that has just been distractions. So I've been focusing on the things that matter really, which has been enjoyable.
Great, thank you. And Diane?
Yeah, a whole mixed bag in there actually. Really resonate with what Natalie was saying actually, in the fact that unlike most people on this on the call has had lots of time to sit with yourselves and all the rest of it. I don't feel like I've really had that because my head has been so much into working longer hours and longer days. But actually within that there is a real different sense of change. The system is so in chaos now that all the rules are out the window, and I'm probably one of the ones who's rewriting some of them in the background, but people haven't got time to read them, so there's no point anyway. And there's a real loveliness about all of that because the system is so chaotic. Actually, it's making people really come together and support each other in a way that I've never seen in my whole 30 odd years in healthcare. And it is from a real place of kindness and a sense of we're in it together. And I've never seen people come together in that way. Technology-wise, I'm probably closer to my team than I've ever been work-wise because we're on technology every day. We're actually cutting through what's important as opposed to a lot of the crap stuff we spend our time doing. And actually we've probably made bigger difference over the last 3-4 weeks, even though it's been at pace and it's been a bit relentless. We've actually made some fantastic progress. And when we get to celebrate, that'll be absolutely amazing. I think on the negative side, it's like it's equally took me straight back into pattern because I know that's where I'm good. I can work at that pace and enjoy it, but then I don't take the breaks. So I've probably got to connect with a lot of all what you guys have been talking about and take some time out within that. But I love what I do. It's reminded me that I love what I do.
Thank you. Dave, John, anything else that you want to add to that now? Actually, sorry, well, there's one person I forgot to come to was Helen. Helen, do you want to just share what your experience was?
Sorry, I was just listening. I wasn't expecting that.
Benefits that you experienced.
Yeah, but just grateful for things. I was saying to Keith that that I've had a garden for 6 years, and I've always been meaning to sit out there and have a cup of coffee and drink a book, drink a cup of coffee and read a book, and I have, like, every day. So I'm really grateful for where I am, and just chilling out, and reading. How many people may end up divorced after this, or all the families that are hating being together. We're really enjoying time as a four, and it's made me value that a bit more, I think, than I have of late. So that's been really good.
Thank you. Okay, Dave, over to you, and then John, if John's got something to add to that. Just to let you know, the time has just gone past 5 o'clock, so the time's whizzed by very quickly.
You're saying I've got to be quick.
And if there's somebody who hasn't yet, and you would like to, just put your hand up as well, because there's quite a few.
Well, Zoe hasn't said anything. Zoe's got anything she's dying to say. I'm sure she has.
It was just similar to what's been said, really, about slower pace of life. I don't feel that it's properly sunk in yet for me, because the first couple of weeks that I was at home with everyone, I was working, so there was still kind of, got to do my work, got to make sure the kids do their work and all of that type of thing. So there was still pretty much a set amount of things you had to do in a day. Whereas this week, being Easter week, sort of last week actually, that's just gone, it's coming to the end of that week now. It actually started to sink in what it's all about. I mean, we still went for walks and everything, and everyone's been talking to each other, which was really nice. And so across the road, you don't always get people sort of saying hello from across the road, but you do now. And just spending time with the family, and discovering places didn't know existed before in the place where you live, which is really good. Sort of going for what we call nowhere walks. You just walk and just see where your nose takes you, basically. So that's just really nice, just appreciating stuff.
Okay. Thank you. Emma, you raised your hand, and then Buddy as well.
Who, sorry?
You first.
I'd just like to say it's been really wonderful to see how happy you all look, because I had this vision of coming home with people climbing the walls and being really scared and being miserable, and I was really scared for the whole of humanity at home being in lockdown. So it's just been really reassuring.
It's only the people abroad, Emma, that are worried about us. Everybody here is absolutely fine.
Are they? Brilliant. Because now I'm like looking forward to coming home. And it's just lovely to hear everybody is feeling like this, that they've just stopped and now they can hear the birds, just little things like that. It's just going to be I think it's going, and I've said it all along, it's going to be the best thing that's ever happened to us in the hardest way. And it's really good to see. So I feel very reassured. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, and also, you're following us on Facebook, so please feel free to join us on these events as they take place. At the moment, they're on Sundays, and if that fits in with your schedule over there, then feel free to join. And if there's anybody that you want to invite, let us know as well.
I will. About 10 o'clock are they usually? Well, 5 o'clock there.
Yeah, so 4 p.m. local time. So I guess 10 p.m. in Thailand. And we did try and stream them on Facebook, though for the last 2 weeks. Facebook hasn't played ball, so we recorded them and then put them up on YouTube afterwards for people to view if they want to as well.
Okay. Okay, lovely. I'll look them up.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And Buddy, you had your hand up as well.
Hi. Yeah. Just wanted to say I can't agree more. Absolutely. That in a nutshell, I think it's just the awareness of the value of the things that really matter in my life, things that really matter in other people's life. It's just been the recognition, the awareness of it is just enhanced. I think it's probably collective, probably everywhere you go, the people you meet, and everyone has just noticed these are the things that matter in my life, whether it's my grandparents, whether it's my, that kind of enhance, that's just amplified like this, there's no tomorrow. So that's my experience. Just wanted to add that.
Yeah, great, thank you. And Dave, come over to you, and then we'll start to wrap up as well. I've got one announcement to make.
Yeah, okay. I just, one of those things, I was down a YouTube rabbit hole earlier today. I came across a video that was shot in 2016, I think, 4 years old, by someone that I can also say I've had the privilege to sit with at an event, and he made the point about, and it's because it's what's been said today about being in touch with nature, and how we can all hear the birds and the birds and the bees and the gates clanging from 500 meters away. And his point was not to lose sight of the fact that we are part of nature. We are nature as well. The fact that we may, through whatever reasons, built concrete bridges and structures and tower blocks and all the things that you could argue have marred the natural landscape, it doesn't get away from the fact that we are part of nature, as is the coronavirus part of nature. And maybe going forward, we might become more aware of just how we fit in with the environment and with everything around us, but not to lose sight of the fact it's not that maybe us appreciating nature more, as just realizing that we're part of it, and we've got a part to play as much as the birds, the bees and the gates and anything else.
Yes, great point, because it's easy to assume that everything is happening around us and not through us, but we are a part of all of the changes that are occurring, and everything that we're noticing happening in nature is also happening for us on there. So I don't know, maybe there's a sheep somewhere having another conversation with another sheep, telling each other how different humans are and how we're so much quieter as well. So it is important to remember. And kind of the announcement I wanted to make.
Sorry, Andre, can I just just as it was important, because you first of all did include me and then you didn't, but never mind. I'll let it go.
Yeah.
But it was just what Diane was saying before that really struck me about the fact that where she works, people have been forced into a situation where they're being kind and looking out for each other and supporting each other. And the thing that really struck me about that was that we all have that all the time right here, right now with this group that exists for us all the time. And again, that is something that really, really should not be overlooked, and something that we should all cherish. So I'll shut up now.
Yeah, very much so. And I posed the question last time we were together: is are we feeling the way we are with everything that's going on because of the work that we do, or are we doing the work that we do because of what's happening? And for me, it's very much we were almost doing the preparatory work for this situation in the last year, and that's enabled us to handle the changes much more easily. So talking about the work, those of you that are part of EM Plus would have been coming to Emotional Mastery. Those of you that aren't wouldn't know about it, or if you're wondering what's happening with Emotional Mastery, obviously it's not going ahead in May, and we were talking between us, myself, Dave, and John, around stuff, and it may not occur for a while. It may not be possible to run Emotional Mastery until November as a live event, depending on the situation in this country and around the world. but what technology is allowing us to do is to have an online version of emotional mastery. We've never done that. So we've taken the plunge, and we're on the weekend of emotional mastery. If I remember correctly, it's going to be the 16th and the 17th of May, Saturday and Sunday. We will be running an online version of emotional mastery, which will have a different structure. So we don't expect you to sit in the chair from 9:30 till midnight or whatever it is that we normally do. But
no hot drinks and no leaving the room.
Yeah, you can bring all the hot drinks you want into the room. That's allowed.
You can fill them on your own floors as well if you want.
Yeah.
We'll come round and tip them over for you.
So that's taking place, and we'll announce details soon of that and how people on EM Plus can join you. You'll be sent the details. People who aren't, we'll also be inviting everybody on the graduate group to come and join us as well. So it's going to be interesting because I guess for me, this situation is, I'm not sure forcing is the right word, but certainly is giving me the opportunity to do something I've been avoiding, which is to do an online version, because in my limitation, I was thinking it can't be as powerful as the offline version. Well, we haven't got a choice at the moment. If we want to do something in May, we have to do it this way. So we just decided to embrace it and see what comes out of that, which I'm sure will be good. So I'm looking forward to that, and we'll let you know details of that within the next kind of week or so. I guess because ultimately, I think all of us can spend 2 days doing what we do, or we can choose to spend 2 days working on ourselves internally to see if we can make it even better for us in our lives and the lives of the loved ones around us by practicing these simple but magical tools that we've all had the kind of real fortune to come across in our lifetimes as well. So that's it from me. Dave, do you want to say anything else before we close?
No.
Okay, well, I guess that's a close then. So thank you all very much.
Everyone for finding us.
And I look forward to meeting up again in a week's time. And whatever you're doing, stay safe and keep sharing your lessons as well on the forums as well. And again, if you've got anybody that you would like to invite to this, please let us know, and we'll include them in the Zoom conference as well, because I know we can have them on here. I don't know whether Facebook will cooperate with us and allow us to stream or not, but we'll see. Thank you all very much. Have a pleasant remaining part of Sunday, and see you all very soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.